This morning I'm doing my hazards perceptions test. And what that is like a virtual test that you have to do before you go for your license. They present you with a certain situation in a car and it says, tap the screen when you think you should slow down or react. And that's it really. So it's not too difficult, but you do have to pass it to go for your license. So hopefully I'll pass it, but I'm pretty sure that I will. But yeah, I gotta head off now, so I will see you when I get back. Bloody smashed it, boys. I honestly don't know why that test is a thing. It's so stupid. So my brother had his 21st birthday party and he used my speakers, which are down here. As you can see, the head unit and the actual sub is missing from those speakers. But if you also look down there, there is also LEDs. Now, I think this is a pretty cool setup in this room here because it actually has flashing LEDs to the sub. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how I created that. It's super simple and super easy, but it requires some very old set of speakers.
You're going to need speakers that have these sort of plugs that you just put a wire into each of them just for the sub. For the actual speakers, they don't matter because you want the LEDs to be powered on when the sub gets powered on.
Now these speakers, they are very old, so like you can still play tapes in them, and it has a 4 CD stacker, so that's how old they are. But it allows you to create something really cool with LEDs, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So this is the LED strip along the ground here. It's a bit old and used, but it still works. So what I've done is it comes out in 2 wires at the end here, and I've attached speaker wire to each side of that. Then if we find the end of it, as you can see here, both the wires end in exposed wire, and that is because where the sub plugs into the head unit, you plug in these wires. Now it's pretty simple how this works. The sub has to get power somehow, and it gets power through those ports in the head unit. So by plugging in the wires for the LEDs into those 2 ports, when the sub gets powered, the LEDs get powered. So when the sub turns on, the LEDs turn on, which makes the LEDs flash to the sub. But before we start, let's clean up this room a little bit. So now we need to put the sub back where it's meant to be. So I've put my sub underneath this pool table over here, but somehow the wires have to get from the pool table over to the head unit. Now I'm not going to run wires underneath the floor because I feel like that's not worth it, so I'm just going to run them across the top of the floor and put tape over it so that no one trips over it. But before we do that, I put a strip of LEDs underneath the pool table there so that it glows the whole room when the sub turns on. Those wires are going to need to be moved across to the head unit as well. So we may as well do them at the same time. So as you can see here, there's actually no flat spot for the adhesive for this to stick onto it, and also the adhesive on this sucks. So I've just grabbed some masking tape and we're just going to tape it where the LEDs are going to sit.
Poison the huddle, subtle boy in a bubble, boy in a bath, poison in the puddles.
Now this actually holds surprisingly well. So I'm just going to tape this wire here to this leg so then it runs down the side of it, and then we'll connect it up to this wire over here. So then we can run it across the floor, and also this stops it from dangling down and being seen.
Float like a dead fish, about the diagnostic. Friends with my thoughts, enemies with the rebuttal. Trend with the course, of course you're gonna push the boundaries.
There you go, a wire hidden. Okay, so I brought over the sub wires and the wires for the LED over to where the head unit's going to be sitting ready to plug in. Now you may see that there is another wire here. That is because there is another LED strip behind this TV. And now you just plug in all the wires. Now I know it looks really bad with all those wires coming out of the back, but when you think about it, half of those are LED wires, and LEDs take up next to no power. So it's going to be absolutely fine. It's not going to catch on fire.
I am proud of it, but anything to stop the paranoia from the cannabis. Feeling like throwing up like a Japanese.
So now we're ready to test that everything's plugged in properly, that every speaker works. So we've got one and 2 speakers over there. That sub on the ground is the original sub. That's not plugged in, that's just there for show. The original one is underneath the pool table. So now we've got to test that they all work with all the flashing lights. It all works!
Catch me far away, play these to me. Catch me far away, from day to day.
have to admit, that is pretty cool. Alright, so I've got to do some work for my dad because I took some photos for their new website about, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, and I said that they would be done soon. So yeah, I think I better do them now. Sorry, Dad.
Just top of my woes, let it go, they don't know, let it go, they don't know. Bad in my lungs and my psyche, fog as sticky your skin, and I pray for the wind. I don't really care about no.
Alright, I gotta get ready for work. I'll see you later.
Those for the sunfall, know you wanna let go. Focus is a death toll, pointless as it's natural. Choking on the lifeline, only wanna let go. Broke most of my life, ain't even had to fall. Blind to the crossroad, mind like a crossbow. Dirty line sheets in a brothel. They let me pleased by the gospel. Crucified a cardinal, can't keep climbing.